John, Masters of Spin now. When it comes to spin, it doesn't get much bigger than a federal election. The coalition was first out of the blocks, releasing a video that featured Scott Morrison's daughters.
Now, Labor had the same idea, with Bill Shorten's 3 children included in his first campaign ad.
Labor will upgrade hospital emergency departments. Hi, I'm Bill Shorten. As the dad of 3, I know Labor's Fair Go plan is good for families.
That the choices that my girls will have over the next 10 years, even over the next 3 years, will set up.
Our Masters of Spin join us now, advertising experts Jane Caro and Matthew Bywater. Welcome to you both. Jane, you'll often hear politicians saying families are off limits, but tune seems to be changed when it can work in their favour.
Absolutely, totally. When it works for them, they use them. When it doesn't, they want them to be, sacrosanct. The interesting thing about these 2 ads, to be honest with you, is there's not very much interesting about these 2 ads. And Morrison's is 2 minutes long, and by the time you get to 30 seconds, you want to poke your eyes out with a fork. I will give Bill Shorten credit for his being only 30 seconds long. That is a lot more restrained and polite to viewers.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Matt, how much pressure would an agency put on a politician to have their family involved?
A lot of pressure, because they're trying to make the people look like they're real. That's why Morrison's goes so long. Lots of family shots. Morrison's was devoid of a lot of policy stuff. Bill Shorten's had a lot more.
You like that comparison.
Bill Shorten's had a few more policies in there with little flash-ups and so forth like that. But certainly the family's a very big thing, because people don't see politicians as being real people.
Also, we've got to get a bit of female in there, because it's so bloody male.
Yeah, it is. All right. A Victorian government agency, moving on now, has released a creepy video showing a man staring at a woman on a train who increasingly becomes uncomfortable before a passenger intervenes. The beginning of this does make you a little bit uncomfortable, Matt, but isn't it terrific? It was such a great example of how someone can step in.
Yeah, I like it. And what it's doing is empowering men, because one of the things I've seen gone wrong in this sort of movement, sometimes it's more all men are bad, all men are bullies, but it's not. Most men actually do the right thing. And this is saying, guys, we know you do the right thing, and here's one way of doing it. I think it's a very empowering ad.
Call it out.
Good one.
I agree completely.
Burger King in New Zealand has removed an online ad. Take a look at this one, which shows diners trying to use chopsticks to eat a new Vietnamese chicken burger. Now, it was deemed to be culturally insensitive. Wouldn't they have thought of that maybe somewhere along the line before they put it to air?
The tragedy is that copywriters are often sitting in a little darkened cubicle, desperately trying to think, how can I communicate this Vietnamese burger brief in a way that's different and interesting? And they forget about the wider context of how it fits in the world. And so they often come up with an idea which does the job on the brief, but they forget about how it might look to everybody else who hasn't got the brief in front of them.
Yes, well, another example where they've just missed the mark completely, another product taken off the shelves for being culturally insensitive, is a box of Easter ducks being sold by a British grocery chain, and they called the dark chocolate duck ugly. So they've got crispy, fluffy, and then ugly. It was believed to have been inspired by the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, The Ugly Duckling. But Matt, I find this really offensive.
Yeah, they should have caught this one. And I don't think there's any bad intent here.
Yeah.
If you remember the Hans Christian Andersen story, the ugly duckling turns into a beautiful swan. So it actually is a nice thing there. That wasn't their intent. And I certainly wasn't their intent to offend, but it was a really bad mess.
Yeah, you're selling chocolates to children. Children of colour get enough aspersions cast. You have to be much more sensitive than that.
Just to get it, I mean, I imagine the amount of money that is spent, did no one down the line get this, like Burger King?
It's the same as the copywriter in the cubicle. They get caught up in their marketing message and they forget that actually it's about how does it come across to people out there, not how does it come across to you.
There are plenty of people that would probably think this was political correctness gone wrong, but these are people that are not being affected by those ads.
That's right.
All right, Matt, Jane, thanks so much.
All right, coming up on Weekend Sunrise, the greatest horse he's ever seen. 7 Sport legend Bruce McAvaney weighs in on Winx's astonishing career as we count down to her final race.